If you're in the construction industry, then you're really going to enjoy this next episode of Leaders in Construction, where we have Mr. Peter Kozicz, the former president of ALBERICI, which is one of the US largest construction companies, joining us and going to be talking some game. Peter, thank you so much for agreeing and joining and being an honored guest on Leaders in Construction. You're a fantastic guest to have. And I feel like a lot of our viewers, we have about a 25,000 following on LinkedIn and a growing audience on YouTube. And I think everyone's going to, regardless of the industry, is going to really enjoy hearing from you on a couple of these topics.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much.
So, from graduating from a civil engineering degree to running the biggest construction company in the US, what has been the catalyst to your success in the position you've reached?
Well, civil engineering, MBA, not the biggest company in the US, but, like a really important one. I would say the thing that really propelled me was a lot of hard work. And for your listeners, a lot of good luck. You cannot discount that at all. And also, I would say intuition. The higher you get up in a company, the more you have to rely on just like gut instinct. And it can't be all about the numbers, can't be all about the equations. It has to be, you get to a point and you need to make a decision, and that's where intuition comes in. So I would say, to your question, hard work, intuition, and good luck.
Amazing. Do you feel like you've trained your intuition as you grew through the ranks? Like, were you challenged with new challenges over the years? Or I guess, what would be your advice to I guess, sharpen that pencil?
So if I were coaching a younger person, let's say you're in the job trailer and it needs to be perfect. Okay. Execution, execution, execution. But then at some point, you're meeting with the owner. There's no clear answer. And that's where the intuition piece comes in. To me, there's no replacement for intuition. You can be the smartest person in the world, and that's what we need in our job trailers. But what we need at the end of the day is someone who has really strong intuition and is willing to make a decision without all of the information available to them.
Wow, amazing. It's kind of like a sixth sense.
That's exactly what it is. Okay. Exactly what it is.
And I guess with everything that you had to juggle in your leadership role, I imagine you had to make some really tough calls. And how would you usually handle those tough decisions that would come your way? Like, was there a process that you followed?
Yeah. So again, depending on your audience, what I've always found is this. Okay. We take way too long making the tough decisions. And again, depending on your audience, hiring, firing, job site decisions, whatever, make the decision sooner rather than later, and you will be happy that you did. And I've made that mistake so many times in my career, mostly around hiring and firing people. I just took way too long. And it's like, you know in your gut what's right. Just do it.
Yeah, I love that mantra. It goes back to the intuition point.
Yes, very much so. Intuition is, to me, way more valuable than intellect.
Yeah, they say in my industry that time can kill agreements, time can kill deals, and speed just makes it.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, for your folks, you're out there, you're in a job trailer, you're making decisions, just do it. do it.
No paralysis by analysis.
Totally. Like, forget it. Just get after it. Just do it. And you know what? If I were walking a job site, let's say you and I together, walking a job site, I can tell in less than 15 minutes whether or not this job is a good job or a bad job.
Hmm.
And it's all about organization, coordination. It's all about respect. Big thing for me, by the way, was job site cleanliness. It's so simple. It's so simple, but we need to get after it.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. I feel like sometimes we overcomplicate it, and that can get in the way.
Totally. Totally. So I look for hardworking people. I look for people that are dedicated. And the big one that I look for is people that are willing to go above and beyond. It's called, in my world, discretionary effort. So, who's willing to step up and make it happen?
I love that discretionary effort. I'm gonna have to use that one too.
Yeah, discretionary effort. That's huge.
So you've seen it all. And what would you say is a tough lesson that you learned throughout the way?
Okay. Not to discourage our folks coming into the business, but this is a tough, tough business. You need to focus on the details and, really, really care not only about your job, but, the client and the other constituents, like, whatever, the architect, the engineer, the builders, your subcontractors. You just have to care. Where we get upside down as a GC, let's say, is when we fight. And if we fight, we're in trouble. So don't do that. Just care about everybody on the job site. Be careful, be respectful, and things will work out. If you decide you're going to go on a job site and have a fight, it's going to be awful.
I feel like that's hard to control sometimes because everybody kind of has a personality. And sometimes those fights happen. Like I speak to a lot of supers, project managers, some of them who say that the site went wrong because someone didn't like someone personally and they lose sight of that project.
Well, I hear you. And if you do that, then everyone is going to lose. The best outcome is to have a collaborative, harmonious job site where everyone gets along. You won't always agree on the outcome, but don't fight. Don't fight. Okay. We're talking about nickels and dimes here.
Yeah.
Don't fight about it. At the end of the day, we're all in this together. Could be a really, really complicated civil job, a dam job, a civil whatever kind of job. Don't fight. Just get along. Okay. And it's going to be ugly. We're not always going to get along. But at the end of the day, we are so much better off if we don't fight.
I love that mantra. That's really powerful. And I know a lot of folks will agree with you there. And I guess that kind of puts that ego, that personality thing into perspective because our field has a lot of competing motives. Like everybody has their own agenda, everybody's kind of out for themselves. And in that, I guess that next generation who easily loses focus because of social media, I don't know, we can go on in that direction. But how would you say the best way to keep people motivated, keep people focused so that way you can propel towards that mutual shared goal, whether it's project or operational success?
One word: communication. Open, transparent, fairness. No one's hogging the ball. communication. Just
Mm,
let's talk about things, okay? If you're the concrete sub and things are going sideways, let's
yeah.
talk about it, okay? If you're the GC and you got safety issues, site access issues, whatever, let's talk about it. Just talk, okay? No one is hogging the ball here, okay? We're all friends. We're all in this to have a successful outcome. And it's kind of like, quit talking to me. Like, let's just be friends. That's all I'm saying. Do you know Tom Gilmain?
Yeah. Not personally, but yeah.
Nicest man in the world. I would challenge you and your listeners to reach out to Tom. And, we've done a lot of deals with him over the years and walk onto a job site. And he is just like the nicest human being in the world. So, to your question, that would be my answer.
Wow.
Be like Tom.
Be like Tom. Be like Tom and Peter.
No, be like Tom. Forget Peter. Be like Tom.
All right. So I guess that takes us to what is, because construction is a really rough industry, and I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure you've seen it all. But what's some advice that you wish you heard at the start of your career in construction?
Okay, so again, not so much for your project managers, but for others. I remember John Alberici, and his grandfather started the company back in 1918. So it's been around for a while. And I remember when I got involved in the business back in 2013, John, now the grandson, who is like whatever, 75 years old, he said, Peter, the only thing worse than no work is bad work. We took on some bad jobs over the years, and I never forgot that. The only thing worse than no work is bad work. Uh,
Wow.
yeah. So that was John's advice to me, and I still remember it to this day.
Wow, that's actually really powerful for now that I'm putting it into perspective of a project manager or a superintendent. You could kind of rebrand that as like instant gratification is never good. Because if you take on a bad job, you could damage relationships, you could lose money, you can fight, as you said.
Well, we took on some bad work, and you lose whatever millions on a job. You fight all the time with the client and whatever. It's just miserable compared to taking on good work. Maybe don't make as much margin wise as you might otherwise want to, but it's a good experience. And more importantly, it's good for our people because they're not there fighting every day with a client who is a complete jackwagon. We're having fun together. We're doing good stuff. And that's what I care about.
Wow, I love that. I feel like you have a very light approach, and I know that, well, I've seen a lot of leaders that embody that light approach. I feel like it gets them a lot further.
Oh, totally. It's so easy when that is happening. If it's a fight every day and, you're hiring lawyers and all that kind of stuff, forget it. I have no interest.
So was there a particular book or kind of like leadership training or a software, I don't know, like a specific tool that really made a difference for you when moving up the ranks?
Totally. And I don't want to take too much of your time on this, but when I joined Flinko, which was acquired by Alberici back in 2013. I was in my office in the spring of 2013, and I thought this company, Flinko, was completely broken. and it has been around since 1905. Okay. So long, long time. And it was busted. And so I reached out to one of my buddies and said, we have a situation here that is not sustainable. Like, I mean, this company is going out of business. And so we wound up hiring a group called APG, Acumen Performance Group, and they're a bunch of Navy SEAL guys. They have worked with us now for the last, whatever it is, 11, 12 years, let's say. And they are animals. And they just like literally kick the brains out of us. We've done that every year, once a year with these guys. And we take 80 people a year through this Navy SEAL training. And if anyone were to ever write a book about Flinko, APG would be like a huge chapter.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're amazing. They're just amazing. Like, I don't know if you've ever met a Navy SEAL, but I had never met one, and now I've met dozens, and they are amazing, amazing folks. You know what? I'll say this to you. They're small, they're wide, they're skinny, but the one thing that they all have in common is that they are really, really smart. And so, to your question, to me, what changed Flinko? And now Alberici is using APG, and they're an amazing group of people.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't do too much research into leadership, motivation, those kinds of services, but I've seen it in movies and TV shows. But I guess it happens in real life. I could see how it could be really effective because I feel like folks involved, the Navy SEALs and folks involved in the Army, like they all have a really strong mindset and that discipline, right?
Well, again, Army, Marines, regular Navy, respect them all. The Navy SEALs are a special breed.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being such an amazing guest on our growing podcast called Leaders in Construction. Really appreciate your input. I know a lot of our viewers are going to take a lot of value in from your mantras, your principles, and some of the stories you shared.
Well, if anyone wants to reach out, obviously, please have them call.
We'll do. We'll do. You'll definitely be hearing from me again soon, though.
Okay. Well, thank you.